Booker T. Washington, 1856 to 1915, was a prominent African-American educator, author, orator, and advisor to several U.S. presidents during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. He emerged as a leading voice for African-American progress in the post-Civil War era, advocating for education, economic self-reliance, and racial uplift. Early life and education, birth into slavery. Born on April 5, 1856, in a slave hut on the Burroughs Plantation in Hale's Ford, Virginia, Washington was the son of an enslaved woman named Jane and an unknown white father. He experienced the hardships of slavery firsthand until the Emancipation Proclamation freed him in 1863. Pursuit of education. After emancipation, his family moved to Malden, West Virginia. Despite working in salt furnaces and coal mines from a young age, Washington was determined to get an education. He learned to read and later attended the Hampton Normal and Agricultural Institute, now Hampton University in Virginia, a school established to educate freed slaves. Career and the Tuskegee Institute. Teaching career. After graduating from Hampton in 1875, Washington taught at his former school and at Wayland Seminary in Washington, D.C., founding the Tuskegee Institute. In 1881, he was appointed to lead a new normal school for African Americans in Tuskegee, Alabama. Under his leadership, the Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute, now Tuskegee University, grew from a modest institution into a leading center for vocational education, emphasizing practical skills like agriculture, carpentry, and brickmaking. Educational philosophy. Washington believed that vocational training was essential for African Americans to achieve economic independence and improve their social standing. He emphasized hard work, self-discipline, and practical skills over classical education. Atlanta Compromise and Social Views, Atlanta Exposition Speech, 1895. Washington delivered a significant speech at the Cotton States and International Exposition in Atlanta, known as the Atlanta Compromise Address. In it he proposed that African Americans should focus on economic advancement through vocational training and accept social segregation temporarily, in exchange for basic education and due process in law. Accommodationist approach. His stance advocated for a gradual approach to racial equality, suggesting that African Americans should not agitate for civil rights or social integration immediately, but should prove their worthiness through economic success. Criticism and opposition. While his views were welcomed by many white leaders and some African Americans, they were criticized by others, notably W.E.B. Du Bois. Critics argued that Washington's approach was too accommodating to segregation and did not challenge the systemic injustices faced by African Americans. National influence and legacy, advisor to presidents. Washington became an influential advisor to Presidents Theodore Roosevelt and William Howard Taft on racial matters, becoming the first African American to be invited to the White House in 1901. National Negro Business League. In 1900, he founded the National Negro Business League, NNBL, to promote the commercial and financial development of the black community. Authorship. He authored several books, including his autobiography, Up From Slavery, 1901, which gained international acclaim and detailed his journey from slavery to becoming a national leader. Fundraising and philanthropy. Washington was adept at fundraising and cultivated relationships with wealthy industrialists like Andrew Carnegie and John D. Rockefeller. He secured substantial donations for Tuskegee and other black institutions. Secret activities. Despite his public accommodationist stance, Washington secretly funded legal challenges against segregation and disenfranchisement, supporting efforts to fight Jim Crow laws. Death and posthumous recognition. Passing. Booker T. Washington died on November 14, 1915 at the age of 59 due to congestive heart failure. He was buried on the campus of the Tuskegee Institute. Honors and memorials. The Booker T. Washington National Monument was established in his birthplace in Virginia. Numerous schools, buildings, and awards have been named in his honor. He was featured on a U.S. postage stamp and commemorative coin, recognizing his contributions to American society, impact, and controversy. Educational advancements. Washington's emphasis on vocational education laid the groundwork for practical training programs and institutions that equipped African Americans with skills necessary for employment and self-sufficiency. Economic empowerment. Through the NNBL and his advocacy, he encouraged black entrepreneurship and economic independence, which helped build a black middle class. Relationship with W.E.B. Du Bois. Du Bois, a prominent black intellectual and co-founder of the NAACP, argued for immediate civil rights and higher education for the talented tenth of the African American population. The ideological differences between Washington and Du Bois highlighted the diversity of thought regarding racial uplift strategies. Quotes on education. Education is not a thing apart from life, not a system nor a philosophy. It is direct teaching how to live and how to work on success. Success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life as by the obstacles which he has overcome while trying to succeed. On character. Character, not circumstances, makes the man. Conclusion. Booker T. Washington remains a pivotal figure in American history. His advocacy for education and economic self-reliance provided a foundation for African American advancement during a critical period. While his strategies were subject to debate, his contributions